Officials in Washington and New York are boosting security efforts in case of potential unrest surrounding a possible Trump indictment. New fencing and more officers have been put in place as a precaution. The grand jury investigating the former president is scheduled to meet again on Wednesday. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now. Scott, how does the way the Capitol is now scanning for credible threats compare to that period of time before January 6th, from which we've all learned so much?
Hey, Lilia and Lana, people who work here, people who police here will tell you it's far less likely they're going to get caught flat-footed again based on the unprecedented damage and the number of injuries sustained here on January 6th. There is an improved sense of readiness, and the Capitol Police have argued emphatically that they have reviewed and improved their intelligence sharing, their training, the preparations of their civil disturbance unit. And I'll note this, it's not a trivial fact. There is a whole new slate of leadership in law enforcement here at the U.S. Capitol. A new House Sergeant at Arms, a new Senate Sergeant at Arms, a new new chief of the U.S. Capitol Police. They cleaned house after January 6, 2021, with a mandate to be more prepared for future risks and future threats. Those bike rack barriers you showed a few moments ago have been re-erected around the perimeter of the Capitol complex, but there's a better sense of readiness for future threats and future violence.
Scott, let's shift gears to talk about another major headline coming out of the Capitol there. A top Democrat investigating the hack of the D.C. health insurance data system told CBS News that the personal information of at least 17 current or former members of Congress has actually been exposed. What more have you learned?
A threat of a different kind, a threat that sensitive, personally identifiable information has not only been breached and hacked, but has been put up for sale on the dark web. Our CBS News reporting shows at least 17 current or former members of Congress might have had their information exposed. That's according to the top Democrat on the House Committee on Administration. Overall, this breach of the D.C. Health Link, this system the District of Columbia has to offer health insurance to its residents, might have exposed 56,000 plus people to having their personally identifiable information exposed. And what does that include? Social security numbers, birthdays, home addresses, which is not unimportant to the people of Capitol Hill who are facing an increasing number of physical threats.
Right.
Their emails, their phone numbers. There's an identity theft risk here, and it involves elected members of the U.S. Congress.
So, Scott, because of that breach, now the D.C. Health Benefit Exchange is facing a lawsuit. Can you tell us what more is in that lawsuit, and are the members of Congress involved?
Our CBS News reporting is that a federal class action lawsuit has been filed against the D.C. Health Benefit Exchange, seeking any number of issues of relief, including an effort to ensure this type of breach doesn't happen again and that there's some protection put in place for information that might have been exposed. This class action suit is seeking participants, seeking members. Spoke with a defense attorney who's behind this suit, who says he hasn't done specific outreach to members of Congress to join the class, but that he would welcome anybody impacted from joining this class action suit. Federal suit filed just down the road in the D.C. federal courthouse. Likely will take months or years to navigate through, but it gives you a sense, Lilia and Lana, of the scope and size of this issue.
I mean, do you have an idea of just the extent of it at this point?
At a minimum, they're saying 56,000 people or so here in the District of Columbia had their information exposed. But what the top Democrat on the House Administration Committee, Joe Morelli of New York, told us was the 17 members of Congress who've had their information exposed is a floor, not a ceiling. That number could increase, and doesn't count, Lilia and Lana, the hundreds of hardworking staffers here on Capitol Hill who are part of this as well.
Wow, really concerning. Scott MacFarlane, thank you.